Greetings YouTube, Simon here bringing you another Final Fantasy VIII Remastered guide video. Today we're going to be getting the Kiros card on disc 1 of Final Fantasy VIII, and then we're going to be refining the Kiros card into 3 auto haste abilities, one of the best abilities that you can get in the game, and then teaching that to our Guardian forces, the required Guardian forces, so that all of our party members can gain access to it. Now, there's a few prerequisites, but before we get to that, I just want to give a shout out to everybody who continues to support my channel via Patreon and or YouTube membership. So before we actually get onto the bulk of the guide today, this card is only going to be played by the opponent that we're going to be approaching if we've done a few things first with the Queen of Cards. First of all, we need to have made sure that we've moved her from Balam, having lost the Mini-Mog card to her. Now, we can get the Mini-Mog card back on disc 1, indeed I do so, but that makes no difference or not as to whether Kiros is played, but you do need to lose it in order to get her to move. And you need to get her to move to Dollet. So watch my first video on the Queen of Cards if she doesn't move to Dollet for you, just so I can explain to you how to do that. Now, this is really important as well. Once you've moved the Queen to Dollet and advanced the story, if need be, when you actually get into Dollet and can approach the Queen, who can be found in the pub, you'll need to speak to her so that she can tell you about her father. Once she's done that, then when we actually approach the required NPC in Delling City, we'll be able to acquire the Kiros card. So it's important you follow those initial steps, otherwise the Kiros card is not going to be played. If the Kiros card isn't played, and it should be played 50% of the time if you've accomplished the required prerequisites, then just check you've done everything correctly, because it could be the case that you've missed something along the way. Now, once Squall and his friends actually get over to Delling City, I strongly recommend that you spend just a minute or so taking a detour to the hotel so that you can save up. Always a good idea before you start trying to battle for a rare card, should in case you lose. And actually, this NPC is a little bit of a challenge, so just bear that in mind, even though the rest of his cards aren't all that great. Now, the next screen down from the hotel, you'll find this quite pixelated fellow wearing black, and he's the one that we need to play in order to get the Kiros card. So go ahead, and because you've saved up, don't worry so much if you lose. Any of your cards can get taken, of course, but you can just reload at that point. And I found in my experience, he plays the card quite often. Now, I had to play him 3 times. We drew the first 2 times, but each of those 3 games he did play the card itself. So once again, if you're not seeing it at all, then just check that you did in fact complete all the prerequisites correctly. Anyway, a couple of games later, managed to position the cards in the correct place, and there we have it, the Kiros card was ours. So it's a pretty decent card, as you can see, but the main reason we're getting this is in order to card mod it to refine it into those accelerators. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's do that first of all. Now that will give us access to 3 auto haste abilities, okay, on 3 Guardian forces. So here's how it's best to distribute those, in my opinion. Bearing in mind, we've only got a few Guardian forces right now, and we don't want to end up with the 3 auto hastes that we teach here all on one character's Guardian forces later on once we've got a full collection. So we need to be a little bit forward planning, and here's what I'm going to recommend. First of all, I recommend giving one to either Diablos or to Shiva, okay, but preferably not to both. And that's because later on Diablos and Shiva are likely going to be on the same character. So let's just go ahead here and teach one to Diablos. That's probably going to work best. Then next up, I recommend putting one onto the Brothers Guardian Force. If you've done this, got the Kiros card just before you've got the Brothers card, because you haven't got into the Tomb of the Unknown King yet, then just hold off on teaching it until you get that Brothers card. Brothers Guardian Force. So let's go ahead and teach that now. And for the third one, you can actually not teach a third one. That's a viable choice, because we are going to learn auto haste on a 3rd Guardian force naturally anyway, and so by teaching it here you're just going to end up clogging up an ability slot on a Guardian force. Remember, you can only hold a certain amount on each Guardian force at any one time. But if you do want to go ahead and teach a 3rd, then I recommend Siren, at least in my case, because that way all 3 party members can now go ahead and equip auto haste. So Zell can have it, in this case, Quistis can have it, and Selphie can have it. So auto haste is arguably one of the best abilities in the game, but it is somewhat offset by the fact that you can now just toggle the ATB to be maxed by default always through battle, thanks to the remastered gameplay enhancements. So just bear that in mind before you refine the Kiros card, but if you're not using those cheats, then by all means it's a good idea to do so, because it is a fantastic ability to get. Anyway folks, I hope this video has been helpful to you, and if it has, please don't forget to show your support by just dropping a like and checking out some of the other videos I've got on the channel right now. But have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Well, thank you so much for stopping by, checking out the video today. Now perhaps you might consider becoming a YouTube channel member. Doing so not only supports me as a creator, but it also bestows upon you certain cool bonuses, such as the ability to have your name stand out in YouTube comments and live stream chats, as well as having yourself credited in every future upload that I do. If that sounds interesting, check out the join button, which you can find just below if watching on PC.